Thanks very much. Before I start, I should say I generally, when I do talks on this, they take 1 or 2 days, and what I specialise in is simplifying the IoT and staying the hell away from science. However, I've been offered an audience of erstwhile scientists, so I thought today we would go deep into the science of how a thing sends a message up to the internet. Now I know it's improv night, so I've got a complete script, because I am not an improv person, but I will do my best not to use it. I've got some props in here, which I will pull out as and when required. The best bits of my career have all been spent helping the public sector with technology, so helping them deliver services better and cheaper. That's really it. So whether it's been designing the VAT payment system for the UK or helping reduce homelessness in Lambeth, those are the kinds of projects I've been doing that I've really enjoyed, and I love the impact of them, and I love the obvious benefit to society. So the idea of the Internet of Things, which I first started getting interested in around 2015, I liked the appeal and what it could do for local authorities in particular. What I didn't like was that it was being pushed by giant IT companies who had amazing smart technology to sell, and that was really the driver for all this smart city stuff. So I wasn't super excited about it until I read 2 articles. One was quite local. It was about the Oxford Flood Network, which is a community-led project, and it was a bunch of geeks who had built these sensors that they glued underneath bridges of Oxford. And what they did was they measured the amount of water in the rivers, and as the water rose, then they could alert the local residents nearby that a flood was imminent. Obviously they can't stop a flood, but what they can do is warn people in time so that they can move their stuff out of the way. Now these sensors cost a couple of £100 to put in, but they save tens of thousands of pounds in sort of damaged goods and broken hearts from stuff that gets lost during floods, and I really like that. And then the second thing that I liked was something called the Things Network, which there was a group of geeks in Amsterdam in Holland who clubbed together, and they created a wireless data network across the whole city of Amsterdam, and it cost less than €10,000. And I thought that was amazing, and these 2 ideas sort of played in my head, and I came up, sort of thinking about sort of community-led smart places. So not just smart cities, but towns and villages and farms and whatnot. And I really like the idea that it was community up rather than big IT company down in terms of innovating different ideas. So I thought, well, I live in Reading, and I know a few geeks in Reading, and there's something that some of us in here go to called Reading Geek Night. So November 2015, I launched the idea of the Things Network Reading, and there was a lot of enthusiasm for it. And with a guy called Mike Beardmore, who sort of signed up straight away, we've been growing a community network around Reading, and it now covers most of Reading, and it's entirely free for you to use. Anyone here could use it for the Internet of Things, which all sounds great, right? But what is the Internet of Things? What's it good for? Well, I've got some props that I will try and talk through. But the basic idea of the Internet of Things is that you can take things that are previously disconnected, like, I don't know, a farm gate, a parking space, that sort of thing, and you can make it send information up to the internet. So it will send data up to the internet, and data can come back to those things as well. So, for example, a bottle bank in a park can send a message to the recycling company to say it's full and it needs emptying. A farmer can get a message at 2 o'clock in the morning from a farm gate saying, "Hi, I've just been opened and there's a van outside and it's loading up cattle." It's that sort of thing. It could be a flat saying, oh hi, is the flat here? Yeah, Mavis has fallen over in the middle of the night and she needs some assistance. That's the sort of thing that you can do with the Internet of Things, and that's the kind of thing that excites me about it. So, back to my script. The technology we use is called LoRaWAN, which has got a couple of interesting characteristics. One is that it's a long range technology. So your sensor can send a message and it gets received several kilometres away. So what that means is that you don't need too many base stations around the town in order to cover the whole area. So it's much better, say, than Wi-Fi in terms of the distance it covers. The second thing it does is it's very low power, which means that your sensors can be powered by batteries. And someone's mobile phone is buzzing. How long? I don't know how long the mobile phone battery lasts. I think maybe a day if we're lucky, maybe not 5 more seconds. But with the Internet of Things, this is a parking sensor. So you drill a hole in the road. This sits in the road, and then as cars go over the top of it, it says there's a car here. And as cars leave, they go, it's a free space, so that you can start directing people to parking spaces and reduce traffic congestion. The battery in this lasts 10 years, so you literally can fit it into the road, or you can fit similar things into the side of buildings or bridges, because the batteries last that long and there's no maintenance involved in it for 10 years. Which I think that's a really good use of it. Just to show you one of the more slightly weird things. It's an Internet of Things mousetrap. This is a real product, and there's a business in Amsterdam that is making an awful lot of money out of selling these, because it stops people having to travel around on a daily route to see which mousetraps need emptying or putting food on. Instead, this tells them when it's caught a mouse, or when the mouse has got away and they need to put more bait on it. And that's saving them a lot of money, and they're actually selling their service now. Instead of so many mousetraps, it's they do you pay for each kill, which is lovely, isn't it? There we go. So that was two things about it. The third thing about LoRaWAN that's useful is that it's a bi-directional technology. So you can send a message up. So if you've got a greenhouse and a greenhouse monitoring system, you can send a message up to the internet, to your artificial intelligence super magic gardener, and your gardener will listen to the information, which might be how hot the greenhouse is, how dry the soil is, and check the internet to see what the weather's like, and it will send a message back to the greenhouse to say, you should really open the window and maybe start the irrigation system to water the soil a bit. So it can work in two directions. So that's another feature of it. So there are going to be thousands, tens of thousands of these devices all over the place. I mean, the actual figure is that in 2 years' time there'll be 4 times as many of these Internet of Things devices as there will people on the Earth, which is what every big IT company dreams for, I suppose, because they sell them. Seems like a crazy number, but there will be all these devices, and the frequency that we talk on, that they talk on, is 868 megahertz, which is a bit of the radio spectrum. So that's going to get really noisy with all these things talking. And the real purpose of the talk today is to say, well, how does your message from your, let's say you're a vaccine fridge in a hospital, and you're reporting how often the fridge, well, with the temperature of the fridge, because if it gets too warm, you have to chuck the vaccines away. If it gets too cold, you have to chuck the vaccines away, and that costs a lot of money. And nurses at the moment go around 4 times a day checking these temperatures. So you can put a sensor in there that does that automatically for you. How do you make sure that that message gets through to the internet and reaches the right area? And that's really the purpose of the talk. So everything is digital, right? It's all ones and zeros. Everyone heard of the Morse code? So your dots and dashes, your long beats and short beats. Well, Internet of Things generally uses something similar to that. except rather than long and short beats, it uses short beats, but it does high beats and low beats. So a 1 is a beep, and a 0 is a boop. And that's how it works, and it's more efficient than Morse code, and it's got better protection against interference. But LoRaWAN uses something more complex than that. It uses something called chirp technology, which was designed for the military. And chirp technology works slightly differently in that a 1 is an ascending tone, so it goes whoop, and a 0 is a descending tone, it goes whoop. So these tones get spread across different bits of the spectrum. So if you think, imagine you're in a noisy bar, right? How do you get your message across? There's really two ways I can think of. One is you talk louder, but that doesn't really work, does it? Because you talk louder, and maybe your first message gets across, but then everyone else starts talking louder, and so the noise level just rises up. And the other way that people do it is they say, let's go over here, and we'll talk here. So we'll pick this bit of the bar, let everyone else talk over there. And what this spread spectrum thing does, this is spread across several channels of the radio spectrum that they can use. And only a couple of bits of that need to get through for the other message, for the gateway to realise that it's heard an ascending tone. So it could hear a and then a and it knows that's an ascending tone, or if it heard a it knows this is a descending tone. It doesn't need to hear the whole message. And that way it can deal with an awful lot of interference. So I hope that made a bit of sense.
What if it does get out of order?
Sorry?
What if only two tones get across and they're received out of order?
There's some clever timing involved in this, and the tones expected on different channels to make sure it works. But it isn't perfect, and you do get errors. So to improve the chances of success, they add about 20% of the message gets repeated, so that you can afford to lose some of the message. There's some redundancy built into it as it goes along. So that will get your message safely from point A to point B. Just to explain the way the Internet of Things works, you've got your, I think David said we're doing temperatures on buses, right? This is the temperature sensor that goes on buses. It's stuck under the seat of some buses, and it tells you how hot it gets upstairs. So these things are out in the wild somewhere, and they transmit messages every now and again. And then somewhere else, there are what are called gateways, which receive these messages. And they're like Wi-Fi routers in your house, except the range is much better, and they sit on the roofs. So your thing sends a message using these ascending and descending tones, these chirps. And the way it actually works is in here there's an antenna. So when it decides to send a message, it sends a stream of electrons up the antenna, and then they excite the particles around the antenna, and it creates radio waves. It's like dropping a pebble into a pond, except that the ripples that come out of a pond compared to the ripples that come out of an antenna. You get 868 million ripples a second coming out of an antenna. They travel at the speed of light, and they can travel through buildings, and they can travel several kilometres. But it's the same sort of idea, just on some decent steroids. So the thing sends electrons up through the antenna, ripples come out of the antenna that are radio waves. You've got your gateway over here that the radio waves hit its antenna, they get converted to electrons, they come down the antenna, the gateway then decrypts the message, sorry I should have said it's encrypted for security, decrypts the message, and then it forwards it on to the Things Network server here. And the Things Network server's job is to get rid of any duplicate messages, because it could have been heard by several gateways. So it gets rid of any duplicate messages and then passes that on to your application. In our case, sorry, I'm just leaving the room here. in our case, it's a chart for the bus company that tells them what temperatures the buses travel at. And that's the way all of these networks are set up. So I hope that makes some sense. Okay, thank you. So we've got a bit of a heroic journey from the thing going as electrons, going to radio waves, travelling across kilometres, hitting a gateway, coming down, getting decrypted, getting passed on to a network server, ending up in your application. And then if there's any reply messages, they come all the way back. So that's a very much more complicated version than anyone ever needs to know in real life. I've been training farmers, I've been training council workers, and I don't mention any of that stuff. We can get people using the Internet of Things in about 2 hours from a standing start, so they can literally build their own device and make it work. Any of you are very welcome to join us. We hold meetups regularly, we hold workshops regularly. If you're interested in it, you can either talk to me afterwards or join our mailing list at finitube.com. The really exciting thing that I just want to finish on is that I'm now working with 4 councils in Berkshire, and in the next few months we're going to have an Internet of Things network that covers West Berkshire, Reading, Wokingham and Bracknell, so it covers a big swathe of Berkshire. If you get interested in the Internet of Things, and if you understand what it can do for your city, then you can actually influence the way that these councils implement the Internet of Things. And I would encourage you to do that, because the smart cities, the smartest thing about them is the people. And it is the people and everything that we do in Reading or other towns that makes us unique and makes people want to come and live here and work here. So that's my talk. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
That was fascinating. If you want to get in touch with Mark afterwards, please grab him. He'll be staying around for a drink. And if you can't grab Mark and don't remember the details, please contact me through the Free Radicals Facebook or website. We'll make sure his messages get over. Okay, so plenty of food for thought for the guys, and I'll hand you over to the Free Radicals.
Hi, I'm Laura Wan, and we're in Lambeth, where we've had a significant number of homeless people dropping. Now, we're asking what's happening in Reading and what they're doing. So I've got the Reading Mayor here, and we're actually going to see why Reading is so shit at the moment.
Things just keep dropping out. It's Laura?
Yeah, Laura Wan.
Laura, what?
Doesn't matter. Carry on.
Sorry, I'm so distracted. Like, that bird just fell out of the sky. Do you think that bird was affected by something?
I'm not too sure, but the question is, what are we doing in Reading?
That bird just got hit by a car.
What are we doing in Reading to make things better at the moment? What can we do to increase Reading's...
That bird's definitely dead. Yeah, we can do a lot of things. First of all, hey, you're gonna get hit by that bus! Dude just got hit by that bus. We're struggling here in Reading. If anybody knows an exorcist, maybe you can get in touch with M. Night Shyamalan. He seems to know about this shit. You could bring him over. Shit's just hitting the fan here.
Hey, easy, Tiger! What the fuck?
Just practicing, right?
Right. Jesus.
You know, I've got to practice the whole shit throwing thing.
You're doing well.
Thank you.
Can I go?
Yeah?
I've got my own, it's fine.
Yeah.
I've got my own. I always carry my own bag of shit.
Oh, good.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that's some smelly shit there.
Oh, thank you. I've got a dog, you know. Why are we doing this for?
Because we've got to throw shit at the mayor.
Oh,
He's
okay.
doing nothing for us.
Yeah, he wears a medallion. He's like a Jewish Mr. T.
I pity the fool! I pity the fool! Son, so are you telling me... Son, your dad and I are concerned. Son, come in here!
Yes.
Your dad and I are concerned, okay? So this is what he just told me. Are you listening?
Yes.
Okay. He said that he hears inanimate objects from all over town trying to communicate with him. Yeah, but I'm not that excited about it. So, how long is this? How long has this been happening?
Yeah, it's been happening all my life. Doesn't anyone else hear this?
And how many times a day?
Beautiful. I mean, it's happening. It kind of comes and goes. It's like suddenly there's this beautiful ascending tone, and it's like angels singing.
What does it sound like?
It sounds like a chirp. It goes whoop.
Oh,
Do you not hear that?
I can't hear that. Is it always so wonderful, or sometimes is it?
Yes, it's always beautiful. It's like R2-D2 in the movies.
Oh, that sounds nice. I think we should call the doctor.
Yeah. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Laura Van here, coming at you several kilometers from where I was last time. Now, your house has recently been flooded.
That's right.
What's been
Has
happening? Are you in a weird area or?
No, it's just normal area. It's raining. Raining's not weird. What are you trying to say?
Well,
it's just flooded.
There's been a few complaints about the flooding and about the mayor not doing anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
How do you feel about the mayor?
Well, the mayor is terrible. He doesn't do anything. But to be honest, I'm quite happy.
Don't touch me.
The rats are getting drowned, so that's good. In the flood, So that's absolutely awesome.
Right, because we do also have a rat/mouse problem, which we
Exactly.
need
Yeah,
help in as well.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
But my
So what's your
foundation-
message to the mayor? What would your message be if he's watching at home right now?
I think we need to wipe out the rats. Wipe out the rats, wipe out the mouse, and better drainage.
So you want me to do what?
Yes, Mr. Shalayman.
Hmm.
You've directed some films that.
I've directed a lot of films.
Right, I'm sorry, and you're
And
making.
they've been bloody good films.
And they often deal with a phenomenon of enormous size.
They're not phenomenal, they're true.
Right, they're true.
Deirdre, yes, you can keep writing.
And something significant is happening in my town. My town is called Reading.
Reading.
In England.
Continue.
What I'm wondering if you can do is
Mm.
come over and try to figure out how we can solve this problem. You know
Okay.
that one that you made where the plants were killing all the people?
What's your budget?
It wasn't my favorite one.
What?
A budget. We don't have much of a budget.
Ah,
Our central bank's collapsed.
It's like an indie film.
I don't want you producing a film per se, but I
Well,
thought.
yes, we will be producing a film.
So
We'll get Keanu Reeves in.
okay.
He'll do it. He's cheap.
What would that look like?
And I'm back at you another kilometre away. I'm here with the Reading Society of Geeks, or do you prefer the Geek Society of Reading?
Nerds.
Nerds are into numbers, geeks are into gadgets. You heard it here first. Okay, and how are you proposing to be helping with Reading Society?
We're going to put the internet in everything.
Right, okay, and I've been Laura Wan and you've been awesome.
Okay, son, the doctor is going to be with us in a moment. Oh, here he is. He looks stern, but that's okay. He's a professional. Okay? Now, why don't you tell the doctor about what you've been hearing? Go on.
What's the problem?
There's no problem. I hear these beautiful chirping noises.
Chirping.
Yeah.
They're not birds, they're inanimate objects.
They're not Jesus either.
Right, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So, what do they tell you?
They don't tell me anything. But they do seem to happen quite a lot recently with all the flooding. Do you hear that as well?
Are you trying to tell me something?
Yeah.
No.
I'm telling you that I hear these sounds.
I agree. This can be possible. I think.
I'm
we
not
need-
going mad.
Can we put him on some sort
Hang
of
on,
medication?
You like peanut butter? Is that what you were trying to tell me?
He was trying to tell you that, yes.
That's really weird.
He loves peanut butter.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
'Cause, we're gonna get on the buses, alright? And like, wear like disguise or something.
Yeah,
just
like a
act,
moustache or a
act casual, just look normal. Alright? Pretend to drop your phone.
Yeah.
And then when you're down there,
Yeah.
you just go like that and then screw it in with the screwdriver, but try not to be too cough while you're doing it.
Cough, cough, cough!
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And then run off the bus going.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's exact fair though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can do contactless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, or use your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Apple Pay.
Yeah, you got a
I
phone.
don't trust it.
No,
He
what is
says
it?
wear an Apple Watch. No, don't trust it. Don't trust it.
Okay, but basically we got to get on as many buses as we can and just put them there without them knowing.
Yeah.
Under the seats.
Under
Alright?
the seats, next to the children.
Under the seats.
Under the seats.
Under the seats. Down here it's better. Where it is better. Take the seats.
Dad, I hear them more now. I hear them more often. It's like coming in every maybe half an hour.
Margaret, can you get me a margarita? I'm having trouble with it. Oh, you got
No,
it.
you will
I feel
have
as
the
if-
coffee.
Okay, I'll take the coffee. Thanks, Margaret. Go on, son.
I feel as if there's like something's happening. Something's in the air. It's like there are more of these things now than there have ever been, and there might be more than there might be people.
You're imagining things. My darling.
Margaret, in all fairness, he's my son. If you don't mind, I'm handing him.
Yeah, but you do not take care of him.
I don't take care of him, but I own him. And I own every little thing that goes on in his strange head. Whether or not it might make me some money someday, or if I'm just gonna have to send him to a home.
You're going to use him.
Use is such a harsh word. I prefer the
I
word
adopted him.
exploit.
Yes, he's not part of me. He's yours.
Enough, both of you. You don't deserve me. You don't love me. I'm gonna run away.
Dun, 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 dun. What do we do now? We've done the buses. We could kill mice!
Or what we could do is
Rats!
we could put it in a piece of cheese, and the rat eats the cheese.
Yeah.
The pigeon
And then
eats the rat.
explode!
No.
Sorry.
The pigeon eats the rat, and then the snakes eat the pigeons.
We could just find girlfriends.
No, this is way easier. Keep going.
Okay, and after a snake, maybe like
What gets rid of the snakes?
owls,
Owls.
and then cats. Get rid of owls.
Cats.
And then
I like
dogs get rid of cats. Yeah, and then
Elephants!
Elephant.
no, it's too big.
Giraffe?
No, hippo.
Mr. Shalayman,
Yeah.
you keep talking about the scenes.
Yeah, the scenes.
Now, they're not. These are things that are actually happening.
Yeah, it's a biopic
It's a biopic. Okay, of whose life exactly?
of the life of reading.
Okay.
Here's these.
Well, dude, what is the film part I'm gonna do?
Great.
In case you don't know, I'm Keanu Reeves.
Keanu, calm down.
Have you seen my dog?
Yes, we've all seen your dog. See, this is what I've got to deal with.
I love John Wick, by the way. Why did we cast Keanu Reeves and why did we write a screenplay when
Because
what we want to do is,
everything needs to be scripted.
Right. This isn't scripted though.
I've got a few other actors I'm going to bring in as well.
Okay. Glass just fell out of the sky and landed on those children's heads.
One of them, I'm thinking of a few people.
Okay, not everything that happens here is a set piece. People are dying.
I've got Sean Connery.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
Squeaky! Squeaky!
Yes. Hello there. What the fuck are they saying?
Sean, go have a whiskey.
I shall have a whiskey.
He hasn't warmed up. He's an actor. He needs to warm up every morning.
I'm thinking that maybe we hire someone.
I think you should hire Alan Rickman.
I'm thinking we hire someone who likes
fine, I'll just
happier
go next time.
endings, like Spielberg.
Well, I'm just a secretary. I was gonna say that I think, Sean Connery's great.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm Laura Wan, and shortly the mayor's going to be entering, and there's going to be a grudge match against the homeowner. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so you said.
Oh, I want to talk to him.
Okay. So we've had some people speak to his people, and there are steps in place at the moment.
Okay.
Right now, he's in a
I've
bar
got ideas
somewhere.
as well. I've got ideas as well.
Okay, apparently there's some kind of waves going, but they
Yeah,
haven't got
yeah.
anything to receive the waves yet.
No, but we need the internet, right?
Laura, I'm here!
Here we are with the mayor and this lovely homeowner. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Johnson.
Johnson. Okay. Now,
I'm the mayor!
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
should you be drinking that in public?
Why not? Why the fuck not?
Beep! We are currently live and it's the daytime, so try and watch
This is
your
what we have
language,
to deal with.
please.
Is this on?
He
Yes,
needs to
it's-
be sacked.
Okay, now listen. We
I
understand.
want you to sack me! Can anyone sack me?
Listen, we understand things are being put into place right now. Can you tell us any more about them?
Well, everything's been bad.
We know that already.
Nothing's been good.
Okay, and how are you planning on fixing that?
I'm gonna continue drinking my Goose IPA.
Other drinks
Why
are available.
don't you go for a swim in the river?
Whoa, dude! There seems to be an issue somewhere else. What do I do?
Yes. Well, what you could do is attack the penguin.
Oh no, that's totally bogus, dude.
This script is terrible.
I like it. It's got big letters.
You're retarded, aren't you?
Well, thank you very much.
It's not a compliment.
I like it. Thanks, dude. Excellent.
I hate you.
Do you have some change, sir?
Some change?
Yeah.
You want some change?
Just for the bus. I need exact change.
20 pence.
Well,
Thank you.
The traffic lights need fixing.
What's going on?
oh, nothing. I just thought that
You like the red light?
If you build it, they will come.
yes. Nothing. I just
Nice.
rats.
Well, that was good. Are you trying to tell me something? I don't know, I'm hearing a few things.
Do you hear that?
I see dead people. Okay. Now, he's just come home, and what he said is that the traffic lights are talking to him, and they need fixing.
This would be a good scene.
No. That's
Oh, it looks horrible as well.
M. Night Shyamalan. I mistook you for my husband. M. Night Shyamalan. It's been a lovely weekend that we've spent together in Dover. But what?
Happened devastating.
Now, I think I found the real protagonist, and not for the movie. It's my son.
You can do it.
I can fix the traffic lights. I can make the mousetraps snap. I know when they need to be replaced. I can hear all of it.
I know he sounds like a lunatic. but I think-
No. It sounds quite European.
Well, he is. But I think there's something that we can extract from his brain to fix all those problems.
There's a flood coming. The water's rising.
I think I read that in a book once.
You have. You're smart.
I'm sorry.
It's gonna wash away all the mouse traps, though.
Do you want to build an ark?
Build an ark. You don't mean in CGI, you mean in real life.
Yeah, we can't fix it in post.
Bum, 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 bum. Breaking news, we hear there is a child with a very special skill. He seems to be walking towards me right now. Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello.
It's fixed. Oh, it's broken again.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
So, you seem to be able to tell us that there was a flood coming. How did you know? That's actually saved several people's houses. We've managed to put sandbags down.
My friends told me there are these little sensors that live under the bridge, and they told me I could hear them. They were so lovely about it.
Right.
They're really clever.
Okay.
I just wish that they'd go less.
This woman is a murderer.
Where were you last year on the November the 15th? Use the force, Luke.
I was washing my hair that day.
I remember that day.
How could you possibly know that?
What little birdie told me?
I'm Laura Wan, and I'll be several kilometers away from here.
Shalayman.
Yeah.
Things are looking up, but I'm so low still. Tell me, when is this all gonna come to an end?
There'll be a climactic finish.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I'm
Phrase not guaranteed.
I'm thinking there'll be a big flood. Lots of people swirling around, and maybe a rat.
Will my city make it?
You'll have to find out in part 2.
There's been a few vegan people complaining about the mouse traps.
Okay, son. Now, this technician is just gonna do a small surgery on you, okay? To extract that little buzzy thing that goes on in your brain.
Okay. I'm scared.
Yeah, can you put a silencer on that thing? Yeah, sure.
Something.
That's better, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now sit up tall, show you're a brave boy.
So you are going to do this to your son?
Margaret, such firm hands you have.
Yes. All these years I've spent pushing you, pulling you away from him.
Look, the mayor and M. Night Shyamalan contracted me to give up what's in my son's head. My son.
Yeah, that's right. Yours.
Now, if you two would stop bickering, please. We're going to show you exactly where we're going to be putting the information. We've made little R2D2 here, who is actually going to do these specific beeps, and we can actually understand him. It's a bit like Morse code, so it sounds a bit like this. And we're actually going to put that part of his brain inside R2D2 here, and then your son will no longer seem like a crazy person.
Fantastic. And I'm still going to get paid for all of this, right?
Yes, yes.
Money, that's all you think of.
Margaret, your salary comes from me. Now buck up.
Now don't worry, we're volunteers, and we do know a lot. So we've gone through a few courses.
He's drinking alcohol.
That helps him steady his nerves.
I'm scared of blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm just so excited.
Is he
He's a
still
new
awake?
friend.
You didn't give him any anesthesia?
Oh, yeah.
sorry.
Pitch.
Good night.
Rockabye.
Go to sleep! It worked.
Okay.
After the surgery.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm covered in blood.
Not you.
Oh, God.
How are you feeling? Can you still hear anything?
Yeah, no.
Is that good?
Oh, no.
I mean, you're peaceful now, right? You can relax. You don't have to be sending and telling people these messages. The bus is too hot. the water's coming, there's a parking space, the traffic light. Like, wasn't that quite stressful having that information in you?
I feel so alone. I've got no one to talk to.
But
now.
you've got R2D2 right here, he's your friend.
Yes.
Now, you can understand him.
Yeah, this is what it's always sounded like.
Well,
You can hear that too, right?
Hi there, it's me, Mr. Mayor. Did the operation go successfully?
it has,
Is this the deranged child that we've been speaking about?
he's not deranged.
Oh, of course not. Special.
Yes, well actually we found a way of being able to communicate instantly with R2D2 here. Chris 3 Phillips O'Hanrahan, we'll just call him C3PO for now, for short, can actually understand everything that he's saying.
Right. And they'll communicate to solve all of these problems?
Yes.
Hi, Mayor. Thanks for sorting out the mice problem.
No problem. Those mice didn't stand a chance. Have a good day, citizen.
You too, sir. Wow, dude. Thanks for sorting out the script. I really appreciate it.
No
Thank you
problem,
so
Keanu
much.
Reeves. Now go back to Hollywood and kick some butt.
Party on, dude.
Party on.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for the front sorting out.
No. No. Don't thank me. You know what? Thank me. Thank me.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely brilliant. I'll get you a drink, master.
Thank you. Take care, citizen.
I just wanted to say thank you for my pardon about the incident that happened with me, Laura Wan, and the unfortunate death of my husband.
That's no problem, Laura.
I will hold you.
Was that a gust?
Yes.
Now, let me show you the underside of my desk.